Hello again. Donald Thomas, reporter for Yonkers News. I'm back to pick up where I left off and tell you the next weird event that happened in this town, and Nigel Goodman was just the first of few. The next event does have something to do with the victims of Nigel Goodman's crime, and the role that this person played in it is a very weird one. But first things first, I'll start off with the culprit of the next event. Her name is Katie Woodrow. Katie only lived in this town for 15 years, but she was first moved here when she was 15 along with her parents. Growing up, she was an A student, amazing cheerleader in high school, and was well liked among her community. And let's not forget that she is also rich. Well, her parents are business tycoons of the sorts. She got whatever she wanted, of course, but it came with a price. That price was her parents' absence, which also led Katie to her own vices. Now, I believe leaving Katie to her own vices does have something to do with the events that happened here on this one. Now, the event that took place 2 months before the events of Nigel Goodman. Katie, by then, was 30, didn't look a day over 20, which is amazing. She was a well-known woman, in a good way. With the money provided by her parents, she helped the town by providing foods and homes for the less fortunate. The town even gave her the nickname the Angel of Yonkers. To be honest, it's well suited, but nobody really knows what she does behind closed doors, unless she invites you to one of her parties that she holds every weekend. And I do mean every weekend. And nobody found it odd that she keeps selecting people that are not married or have a significant other. Of course, I thought this was just rumors, but as I kept digging around, the information I've gathered, all of the participants of the parties are true. They are all single and not married at all, and that's why they were chosen. I just wish they were still alive to tell the tales the party case hosted. That's where I come in. The one person was full of curiosity, and the questions started to dig into her nightly parties. As for what I can tell, it sounded like some sort of sex party, or an old-fashioned orgy, or maybe not at all. It could be just a regular party that rumors are going crazy for no reason. But what I found out was that not only the rumors were true, but they were more than true. And by meaning of that, I mean I discovered something a lot more than just a simple orgy. What I found was not just an orgy, but what made this shocking is that the room that the act was taking place was ominous, dark, and just eerie, almost as if I felt a chill up my spine the moment I saw the room. But what was distinctly made in this room was there's a giant statue in the middle of it. Just a big white statue with a goat head on a man's body, and was making weird signs with his two of his hands. And the people are just going at it, minding their own business, doing what they do at a pleasure around this statue. But then I pull out my camera just so I can get a closer look, so I can take some photos of what's going on behind the closed doors. But what I didn't see was that there was two people standing right in front of the statue, a man and a woman, completely naked. I recognized Katie as the woman in the statue almost immediately, but the man that I saw, I didn't recognize up until now, until everything had happened. But now that I'm thinking about it, that person, that man that was with Katie, was none other than Arnold Baldrip. I pondered at what he was doing here. I knew he was just almost as rich as, well, Nigel, but he was also wealthy, but also single as well, so it might not be that hard. But then again, Arnold didn't seem like the type to participate in the orgy ritual. But as I was getting ready to snap the photos, and I heard something behind me, so I looked away for a few seconds to see no one was there. And then when I went and looked in front of me so I could take the pictures of the statue with the two people, Arnold was looking at me. Not just looking at me, he even smiled. I freaked the hell out, And I did not hesitate to run back to my car, and I did not hesitate when I fully drove away from her house as fast as I could. Even after that night, Katie never approached me. Why I was spying on her and her party, so I assumed Arnold didn't tell her. I just dropped the headline altogether because I don't want the cops on me for technically invading private property. Yeah, I dropped it. My boss wasn't happy, but I did it because I thought it would be best. 2 months later, after the events of Goodman, I was notified by my boss, Katie again, and was told to go to her home immediately. I did what I was told and head to Katie's home, but see, there was police cars and yellow tapes all around the front of the house. They were swarming the house as if something big happened. And hopefully, when I get in there, it's not something that could be gruesome. But luckily, one of my buddies that were a police officer on duty was there at the time, and he was able to slip past me. When I got there, I didn't even bother to take photos, because the crime scene that I saw was too gruesome to be even on paper, especially as innocent as a small town newspaper. But I will tell you this. When I walked in there, I saw a grisly scene. 30 participants of that party of that night, exactly 30, all dead. All of them have stab wounds in their hearts. And we were determined what it was. It was some weird dagger of sort with a widely lined blade, as if it was a snake-like blade. All of them were stabbed in the heart. But that's not what concerned me the most. What concerned me was that Katie was not there. Her body wasn't among the corpses as well. So I thought Katie had disappeared. But it was also proven later that Katie was the perpetrator, and Katie was gone, disappeared. It's baffling at how could someone so good and done so much for this community would just do such a thing. It didn't make any sense. I was determined to find out, so I went to her parents' place to see where she had went, knowing that the police were also after her, and I'm probably sure they were spying on me as well. But to my surprise, the parents doesn't even know where she is either. And she didn't even mention where she would want to go if she ever left town. Not a single clue. As far as we know, Katie's not dead, but she vanished in the middle of the night without a single damn trace. She's out there somewhere. It's baffling how can someone commit such an act and just disappear off the face of the earth like nobody knows where she is. No records, no passports, no nothing. But that's all I can do for tonight. But I will leave you with a little bit of info that involves the previous Goodman case. After the murder of Goodman's ex-wife, Goodman himself also disappeared from his cell, vanished just at the same time Katie had vanished. And the weirdest part about the case, the other body that was along with the ex-wife that Goodman had chopped up to unrecognizable pieces, well, through the blood samples and tissues, they identified the body. And it wasn't Arnold Beldrum's body. That means Arnold Beldrum was still out there at the time, roaming free. I don't know what he has to do with any of this, but all I know is he was in 2 events, one he participated in, and one he barely escaped with his life. Or maybe it was planned. It's too coincidental, but that's all I can tell you for now. I have to leave, because me making these audio files and telling you all this, well, let's just say I had some unwelcome visitors.